Welcome to week 10 of the NFL football season, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joe, and welcome to Hashtag Sports. It has been a crazy year already, and I'm looking forward to the second half of the season with you guys, giving you my picks and joining you every single Buffalo Bills game day. Obviously, as Bills fans, we received some glimmer of hope over the past couple days with Josh Allen, maybe able to play this Sunday. Who knows? Right now, Vegas has moved that line drastically, knowing that Josh Allen might not play. We'll talk about that game. We'll talk about more, but first, let's talk about how we're doing so far this season. If you look on the screen right now, you see last week was a great week for us, actually. Against the spread, we went 9-4 straight up. Still got those double-digit wins. We're talking 11-2 straight up. A really good week for me. That puts me at 82-54 overall again, straight up, and 56-2 against the spread. It's been a good season. I'm happy with those numbers. Let's keep those numbers going. Let's keep moving in that direction. We had double-digit wins both against the spread and straight up in week 8. Double-digit wins straight up in week 9. Let's see if we get both numbers back up to double-digit wins. Guys, as always, let me know in the comment section your picks this week. Some big matchups. A matchup overseas, a big Thursday night and Monday night and Sunday night matchup as always. What are your picks? I'm going to give you mine in a second. Before I do that, guys, remember that Hashtag Sports is sponsored by Mr. Rogers Homes, Mr. Rogers Homes, in association with DeanBlundell.com. Also, Hashtag Sports 2020 charity this season, the Williams Syndrome Foundation. If you're not already a Patreon member, Hashtag Sports gives plenty of benefits out to the Patreon members, $7.16 a month. Really appreciate it. All of that proceeds going to the Williams Syndrome Foundation. So we appreciate all that you guys do to help those foundations. We do it every single year. Hit that subscribe button, like this video. It's the best way to help out Hashtag Sports and get the word out about the foundations that we are helping not only this year, but in the future. So we're looking at week 10, and let's start with the 4 teams on a bye. We have 4 teams on a bye this week. That means we have 14 games. The Ravens, the Bengals, the Patriots, the Jets, all AFC teams, 2 in the East, 2 in the North on bye this week. So 14 games this weekend. It starts with Thursday night football. I said it's a big game only because it's a divisional matchup. And if you look at the division in question, anyone really can win it, including probably the worst team potentially in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers, who are at home playing against the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons have been sneaky, right? 4-5 this season. Not sure what to expect from them. Are they actually a half-decent team, or are they benefiting from the fact they play in a weak division? How will Tom Brady and the Bucs respond after winning last week in the last minute of that game? Has that offense figured something out? Will they contend for the NFC South? Will the Falcons keep up and contend with the Buccaneers in the NFC South? After 2 or 3 weeks of the season, we thought the Buccaneers were going to run away with this division. No, they've fallen back a little bit, and the Falcons have tried to take advantage of that. And they have a game this week that's easy to get that W, right? Get that win, at least keep up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into Carolina. And listen, these Thursday night games, always tough to predict, only because a short week, one team might not get as much rest. The away team a lot of times is that team. Doesn't get as much rest, feels a little bit uncomfortable, feels a little bit out of sync. How will Atlanta respond in Carolina? But let's be honest about Carolina. They're just not good. Got rid of the running back a few weeks ago. He went to San Fran. So this whole team is in rebuild mode, right? Chris McCaffrey, that was his name. So this whole team's in rebuild mode. Yeah, sure, they've shown signs, some promise, some good young talent on this team, but they're just not going to be good enough to get the job done, right? Give me Atlanta Falcons to win this game. It is a 3-point spread. It's a divisional matchup, a short week. I expect a close game here, but give me the Falcons to win. Give me the Carolina Panthers to cover the spread. Again, if you're Amazon Prime right now, you're not really loving this Thursday night schedule so far. Just not the games that you wanted to see in the NFL season. But you pay the money, you got to unfortunately take your lumps. Moving to Sunday. Sunday starts off at 9:30 a.m. Another international game in the NFL's International Series in 2022. This one for the first time ever being played in Germany. So how will teams do? How will Germany, how will that crowd respond to the NFL going to Germany? Should be a fun event, right? It should be something that people look forward to. Hopefully it all goes swimmingly, all goes well, and the NFL can find ways to get back there for future years. I personally am not a fan of the international series. I think it takes something away from the game. We've seen plenty of these games that have turned into duds, and I don't know what this one will be. You look at the Buccaneers, again, coming off that win last week, but this offense really hasn't been that great, right? They haven't really done much. And with the offensive weapons they have, you kind of expect them to get out of the slump, and they're just not doing it. Here we are, week 10, and they're just not getting out of that slump like you thought they might. On the other hand, Seattle's offense is surprising a lot of people. Geno Smith is surprising a lot of people. Everyone thought they've seen everything they needed to see out of Geno Smith, but this year he seems to have gotten it together. This year he seems to be a really good starting quarterback in the NFL. Guys, the Seahawks, 2.5-point underdogs in this game. I think Vegas is on to something here. I think they see something in Tom Brady and this Buccaneers offense being able to score a touchdown last minute of the game last week to get that win. Maybe something's beginning to click in Tampa Bay. I'm not going to rule out Tom Brady comeback, making the playoffs, win the NFC South, and then making some noise in the playoffs because that's what Tom Brady does. Give me the Buccaneers to win this game. The Buccaneers cover a 2.5-point spread, but should be a fun one. I hope that's a close one because, again, it's the NFL's first game in Germany. I'm sure that they want it to be exciting for the fan base. And even though I'm not a fan of the international series, it's not going anywhere. So hopefully it turns out well. Moving then to the 1 o'clock games on Sunday. The Broncos start off against the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. The Titans are getting hot, right? And they just lost to Kansas City. I understand that. And they lost by a decent margin. I think it was 9 points, something like that. I forget. Someone in the comment would be like, no, it was actually a close game, but I completely forget. Coming off a short week because that game was on Sunday night, going back home, playing the Denver Broncos team, that offense really hasn't been clicking, right? Russell Wilson obviously is not the Russell Wilson we remember from years past, and this Denver Broncos offense just doesn't seem to have what it takes. Now, the AFC West isn't as good overall as we thought it was, so the Broncos still have a chance to make some noise, right? Still a little over halfway through the season. Can the Broncos pull off the upset here? Can they get Russell Wilson going? Can they get Jerry Jeudy the ball and make some plays? Those wide receivers still very good. Can the Broncos defense stop Derrick Henry? That's really the big question. I don't think it's going to happen. Derrick Henry's been on a tear the last few weeks, and I think that continues. The Tennessee Titans win this game at home. The Tennessee Titans cover a 2.5-point spread. Going to be a common theme on this slate of games. The home team's going to win a bunch of these, in my opinion, just because a lot of them are favored at home. And I think that a lot of the better teams are the home teams this week. It doesn't happen often, but I could see easily at least 12 of these 14 teams, home teams, winning this week. Now, granted, the Seahawks-Buccaneers game, really no one's home because they are in Germany, but the Buccaneers are considered the home team there. So I do have the Bucs win that game. I have the Titans at home beating the Denver Broncos. Moving on, you got our Buffalo Bills. Again, some good news about Josh Allen earlier this week, playing against the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings team 7-1, really good team so far. Maybe a little bit under the radar, and that you can say what you want about their level of competition so far, but you still have to win these games, right? They lost to Philadelphia on Monday night. Their only loss so far this season, going against the Buffalo Bills, coming off that loss to the Jets, reeling a little bit. But the Buffalo Bills are undefeated at home so far this season. Only been 3 games at home, but they are undefeated on the road this season. Potentially a game Case Keenum plays his old team as well. So that's a storyline to kind of look into. Listen, it's not the storyline I'm looking forward to talking about, though. What I'm looking forward to talking about is Tre'Davious White being back on the field for the Buffalo Bills. Still listed as day today. Not sure if he'll be back, but I would love to see him back for the Buffalo Bills in this game against the Minnesota Vikings. We see what the cornerbacks have gone through for the Buffalo Bills. The quarterbacks and the safety. Jordan Poyer also will practice. Looks like he might play on Sunday as well. Should be a good one. I will be live streaming this game, play reaction to this game on #sports. So make sure you check that out. The Buffalo Bills, whether it's Case Keenum, whether it's Josh Allen, have a lot of offensive weapons, have been able to run the ball a little bit better over the past few weeks. Maybe we lean on the running game a little bit more. I like the Buffalo Bills in this game, no matter who's playing. Now, listen, the spread at the beginning of the week was 6.5, 7 points. With the news of Josh Allen, dropped down to 3.5, but they are still favored at home. Give me the Buffalo Bills to win this game. If you got the Vikings at plus 6.5 or whatever it was, good for you. I don't see the Bills covering a touchdown spread, but 3.5. Give me the Buffalo Bills to win this game. Give me the Buffalo Bills to cover that 3.5 point spread. Going to Miami, where it might not be as hot now. It's in November, and Cleveland might be a little more comfortable no matter what sideline they're on, as the Cleveland Browns go to Miami to play the Miami Dolphins. Now, remember, Miami, a little bit of a hurricane going through there, right? So first of all, wishing everyone who is going through that the best safety. Be safe, be smart. Make sure that you're taking care of you and yours. Okay, that's the most important thing. That's always the most important thing. This football game, if it does happen in Miami, it looks like it will happen in Miami, but whether it does or doesn't, that's irrelevant right now. We care about the safety of the people of Florida. The Miami Dolphins come into this game kind of hot, right? This Dolphins team, it is for real. They just have a problem with closing out games, in my opinion, right? We saw a game last week against Chicago. Couldn't close it out. Chicago kept up with them, kept pace, right? Miami would make it 10. Chicago keep make it 3. And then Miami ended up winning by 3 points. 3.5 point spread here against the Cleveland Browns. I think the Dolphins win this game. And in this instance, I think the Dolphins cover a 3.5 point spread. I don't think the Browns are as good of a team as the Bears. And I think being in Miami gives the Dolphins even a bigger edge. Give me the Dolphins to win this game. Give me the Dolphins to cover a 3.5 point spread. Going to Pittsburgh, where the Pittsburgh Steelers are at home, 1.5 point underdogs against the New Orleans Saints. You know, when Pittsburgh's at home, it's always a little tricky, right? Pittsburgh plays better at home than they do away. You got the terrible towels. You got a crazy crowd, fan base there. You look at the Saints with Andy Dalton. Listen, the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, very familiar with Andy Dalton, okay? So that's something you have to take into consideration in this game as well. Not sure who's going to win this one since I've already picked so many home teams, and that's the only reason why I'm going with the Saints. I think the Saints have a little bit of a better team at this point, but the only reason why I'm saying that is because I am going to pick, I think, 12 home teams, maybe 11 home teams this week. Not all the home teams are going to win. I'm sorry, that's just not how the NFL works. So give me the Saints to win this game. The Saints cover a 1.5 point spread, but wouldn't be surprised at all if the Steelers win that one. Then you go to the NFC North, where you've got Lions, no Tigers, but some Bears. The Detroit Lions go up against the Chicago Bears. That's right. It was pretty corny. I know. You don't have to tell me. I know. The Detroit Lions go up against the Chicago Bears. The Bears 3-point favorites in this game. Again, another divisional game. I think this is going to be very close. The Lions offense will be able to put points on the board against the Bears defense, but that's the same the other way around. This Bears offense will be able to put points on the board against the Detroit Lions. Neither of these defenses playing well so far this season, so I expect to see a high-scoring game here. The Bears are 3-point favorites. And, you know, for all the talk coming into the season about the Detroit Lions, how they've improved, that Dan Campbell has this team going in the right direction, they're not. They're not. And we can hope and we can wish that the Lions start at some point. I just don't think it's this season. I think that Dan Campbell needs to go, and I think that the Lions have to start over. Jared Goff isn't the answer, obviously. You know, you do have Antonio St. Brown there, and I think he's a great wide receiver, but he's had a couple duds this season as well. Is it his fault? Is it Jared Goff's fault? Is it the offensive line's fault? I don't know. You have the running back Williams there, great running back, great young running back. Is he going to be wasted and have to be sent somewhere else as a backup? Maybe. I don't know. But the Lions have to start over, I think. The Lions lose this game to the Bears in Chicago. Maybe we win Dan Campbell's last games as the Lions head coach. The Bears win this game. The Bears are actually have the Lions covering the spread in this one. Again, like I said in the beginning, I see this game being close. Two NFC North teams, neither of them very good. Both of them trying to get better. I just think the Bears are a little bit closer to that right now. So give me the Bears to win, but the Lions cover that 3-point spread. The Giants at home, 4.5 point favorites against the Texans. The Texans have kind of falling back down to earth a little bit, right? Like at the beginning of the season, the Texans were hanging in there, right? They're hanging around. Starts with an opening week tie against the Colts when we all thought the Colts were going to be good. But now it turns out that both teams are not that good. So that game, you throw that away. The Texans have gotten a win since then against Jacksonville, but that's a South opponent, not sure what's going on. And for all the talk about the AFC being better than the NFC this season, the Texans might not fall into that category. The Giants, on the other hand, playing really well. Brian Daboll has his team playing the best he might have had, best we could expect out of this Giants team. 4.5-point favorites. Look, I like the Giants to win this game. I really do. But the Giants really haven't been blowing people away. So the Giants win this game, win the game. But I'm not sure if they win by 4.5. Maybe a field goal, might take a late score in this one, because the Texans, again, even though they're not that good, have been hanging around a little bit. Give me the Giants to win this game. Give me the Texans to cover a 4.5-point spread. Going to Kansas City, where Bills fans would love to see the Chiefs lose. Unfortunately, I just don't see it happening too much more this season. The Kansas City Chiefs, 9.5-point favorites against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that's a lot of points. I think Trevor Lawrence, ETN, this Jaguars offense can put up points against this Chiefs defense. I think that there will be a lot of points scored in this game. I would take the over in this one. But obviously, Patrick Mahomes and this offense, they see blood in the water when it comes to Buffalo. They see the number one seed being obtainable again, even though they lost to Buffalo earlier this year. So they want to keep winning. They want to stay on this winning streak as long as they can. They know that if they win and the Buffalo Bills lose this week, they will become the number one seeds again in the AFC. Give me the Chiefs to win this game, but again, 9.5, lots of points. I think Jacksonville can at least cover that. Chiefs win this game. The Jaguars cover a 9.5-point spread. You move on to those 4 o'clock games, those afternoon games, 3 4 o'clock games this Sunday. You got the Colts going against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders 6-point favorites. I don't see the Raiders being able to cover a 6-point spread. Do you trust the Raiders at this point in the season to cover a 6-point spread? To be honest, I'm surprised Josh McDaniels still there. This Raiders team has underperformed worse than any team in the NFL, in my opinion. We thought this team could contend for a playoff spot. We thought potentially this team could contend for that AFC West. We all have 4 teams, to be honest with you, could contend for that AFC West crown. Haven't lived up to that billing at all. And it starts with the coaching staff, who got thrown under the bus by the quarterback, Derek Carr, last week in the press conference. So the fact that Josh McDaniels is still there is really a surprise to me. I think that he might be gone soon. However, they're going up against the Colts team, a backup quarterback that I personally just don't think is ready for the NFL. He hasn't proven anything to me that he's actually ready for the NFL. Ready to take that leap. Now, again, not saying they won't at some point in his career, maybe next season, and getting the reps might even help him with that. But he's still a little bit behind, still only making that first read. And if it's not open, he gets a little panicky in the pocket. So I expect the Raiders to win this game, but there's no part of me that thinks the Raiders can cover a 6-point spread. The Raiders win, Colts cover a 6-point spread. Cowboys at Packers, that's going to be the big one just because of the 2 team names. However, it's not going to be that big of a game. Now, I think it might be close, but if you look at the Packers record, where are they at right now? And Minnesota is clearly well ahead in that division at this point. The Packers have lost 5 straight. That has to come to an end at some point. Is it going to be this game? I wouldn't mind seeing it as someone who doesn't like the Cowboys all that much. But can the Packers do it? I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Cowboys are the better team at this point. You look at Zeke Elliott, you get Pollard. To be honest, I'm not sure why Pollard isn't starting over Zeke Elliott. And you look at those wide receivers, obviously CeeDee Lamb, and that defense is still ferocious, still a ball hawk defense over there for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know how the Packers respond to that. And you really haven't seen any urgency from Packers so far this season. Not sure about Aaron Jones, if he's going to be able to play, if he's going to be at 100%, even if he plays against the Cowboys. The Packers keep this one close. In Lambeau, the Packers keep this one close. They cover that 5-point spread, but the Cowboys get the victory at the end of the day. The Cowboys keep up with the Giants and the Eagles in the NFC East and kind of cement their spot as a playoff team. Here in Week 10, the Cowboys win this game. The Packers cover that 5-point spread. Last of the 425 games, you got the Cardinals going against the Los Angeles Rams at NFC West showdown. The Rams 2-point favorites. The Cardinals, in my opinion, are kind of like the Raiders, just have underperformed all season long. They've got a few wins here and there, but you haven't really seen what you thought you could see, the explosiveness from Kyler Murray and some of these offensive weapons. Now they've gotten better with D-Hop back, but unfortunately Brown's out for a few more weeks. So that really takes away that dynamic duo. Look forward to seeing them back on the field together whenever that happens. But D-Hop has helped that offense out a little bit over the past few weeks, but I just don't know if it's enough. This Rams team really needs a victory after a loss last week against Tampa Bay to have a chance to defend their Super Bowl title when it comes to the playoffs. Listen, the 49ers and Seahawks are clearly the two better teams in this division, but the Rams really need to get in motion. They need to get in gear if they think that they have a shot at a playoff spot. The Rams are going to win this game. The Rams are going to cover a 2-point spread. Moving on to Sunday Night Football. Waiting all day for Sunday night. Hate that song because it's not true. Listen, when I wake up on Sunday, I'm excited for the London game or the Germany game in this week. You're talking about the 1 o'clock games. I'm not waiting for Sunday. Not Sunday night, I mean, at least. Like, give me Sunday morning, give me Sunday afternoon. I don't have to worry about getting ready for work anytime soon. If I'm going to stay awake long enough for the game, I'd rather Sunday afternoon. But the song's still there. Got to listen to it. The Chargers going into San Fran or San Bernardino and playing the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers 7-point favorites in this game. The Chargers are a good team. They're not a great team. Not even as good as we thought they'd be at the beginning of the season, right? Maybe they contend at the end of the year for the West, but more than likely, wild card team. That's San Francisco, or that's the Los Angeles Chargers. For the 49ers, though, they could win the NFC West. Now, Seattle's got the lead right now, right? Seattle's got the lead right now, and they've been playing really well, and they deserve to have the lead in the division. But the 49ers have suffered through some injuries, right? Obviously, the biggest injury, Garoppolo playing for Trey Lance. After Trey Lance got injured in week 2, he went back this year. But Garoppolo knows what he's doing. We know what Garoppolo can do. 2 times he's led his team to the NFC Championship game. One of those times going to the Super Bowl. So we know that he can win. We know that he can win against good teams. And I think that the 49ers being at home are going to win this game. I think the addition of Christian McCaffrey is going to show up huge in this game. I think that you look at Deebo Samuel coming back, I believe, in this game as well. I think the 49ers team starting to get healthy, looking pretty good. And they're going to start winning multiple games in a row here. This team is going to start showing you that they're one of the favorites in the NFC to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I like the 49ers in this matchup, but the Chargers are a good team. The Chargers are going to put up a fight, and the Chargers are going to make this game close. Giving the 49ers to win, giving the Chargers to cover that 7-point spread. Then you go to Monday Night Football, where the Washington Commanders sit at 4-5, go up against the Philadelphia Eagles, the last, we've been saying this for a few weeks now, the last undefeated team in the NFL. Can they run the table? I mean, it's week 10, so we know that we have 8 weeks left, but it's not out of the question. At least start looking at their schedule and saying, can they run the table? They got a tough game against the Titans. Obviously, they still got 2 more against the Giants. They got 1 more against Dallas, probably with Dak Prescott instead of their backup quarterback. Whatever. It went down. The screen went down. You guys are used to it. Give me the Eagles to win this game. I'm not going to start new recording this late. Give me the Eagles to win this game, but it's an 11-point spread. The Eagles win this game. The Commanders cover that 11-point spread. Real quick, real simple. My stuff's going crazy. It's getting late. I know this is going to run on Thursday morning, but I do these on Wednesday night. So let me give you the rundown of my picks. On Thursday, I got the Falcons winning straight up. I got the Falcons, Buccaneers, Titans, Bills, Dolphins, Saints, Bears, Giants, Chiefs, Raiders, Cowboys, Rams, 49ers, Eagles. You can yell at me about that in the comment section. Give me the Panthers to cover the spread. Against the spread, I got the Panthers, Buccaneers, Titans, Bills, Dolphins, Saints, Lions, Giants, Jags, Colts, Packers, Rams, Chargers, Commanders. Again, straight up, 82-54 so far this season against the spread, 78, 56-2, 20 games. More than 20 games over 500. That has me pretty excited. Hopefully you guys are excited too. Winning some money potentially if you're going with my bets. I've been going with my bets. Making me happy. Can't go wrong. It looks like we're going to continue. Hopefully we do. Let me know what you have in the comment section. Like this video. Comment about my screen going down. Whatever you want to comment about. Let me know what you're thinking. I always look forward to it. Join me on Sunday for the live stream as we live stream the game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills. I look forward to seeing you all then. Until I do, go Bills.
Hello, fellow Bills fans. Sean Rogers, realtor and lead of the Mr. Rogers Homes team. Did you know that real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth? And right now is one of the best times to own an investment property in Arizona? Please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions so we can take the next step to your financial freedom here in the Valley of the Sun, utilizing real estate. As always, God bless America and go Buffalo!